Well, hey there, folks. How you doing today? Hope you're having an awesome day. Well, I think I might have a kind of a neat one for you today. I'm sure you've all heard of the Gerber Gator. That's one of Gerber's probably more successful lines of knives. They have the original Gerber Gator, then they have higher end brands, and I believe they have a Gerber Gator fixed blade. Well, I've been on the lookout for one. They don't hit the shops here very often, even though they're still made. But in my hunt, I came across this fella here. And this is a Gerber Gator Mate. So it's basically a mini companion version of the Gerber Gator. If we look at the box, you see Gerber Gator Mate, serrated with sheath, item number 6151. And there is also an unserrated version, just a plain edge, and that is the 06149. Now, these knives are no longer in production. They originated in the early 90s. I believe 1991 was when Gerber first came up with the Gator line. The full-size Gator is still in production, but the Gerber Gator Mate is no longer in production. And I couldn't find a date to tell me when it actually went out of production. So if we continue to look at the box, we have UPC code and imported by Fiskars Canada, Ontario, and there's the information if you want to give them a shout. So I believe Fiskars took over or bought out Gerber in the late 80s. I'm not sure on that, but let's open this box up and have a look. So it does come with the original paperwork with the warranty information and whatnot, which is neat. Comes in a ballistic nylon sheath. I'm not the biggest fan of nylon sheaths, but this one's not too bad. It seems to be well stitched and put together. You've got your Gator Gerber Legendary blades, a Fiskars company made in the USA. Has a belt loop for upwards carry, and the belt loop is stitched up high, so that's nice. So it's going to ride low on your belt, so you're not going to have a big portion of the knife sticking up into your side or the sheath. Velcro seal. And I mean, it's a smaller knife and a small pouch. You could easily drop it in your pocket the same as you would a leather knife slip or something like that. And here's the knife. And it has that gator skin texture that the line is so well known for and gets its name from. Spec-wise, it is 4.1 inches closed, 7.22 inches open, has a 3.09 inch, so 3-inch blade, 2.75 inch sharpened edge. The blade thickness is 0.1 inches. The handle thickness is 0.63 inches at its widest point. Now the blade in different listings, some showed it as 440, some showed it as 420. The majority showed it as 420 high carbon stainless steel. So I don't know if maybe at one point it was made of 440 and then they switched it or vice versa, but I'm going to go with this being 420 high carbon stainless. It has a partially serrated section and then a plain edge. Feels like a flat grind. Don't really get a hollow grind feel from it. It's got a matte or bead blast finish. You've got your Portland, Oregon, USA for the manufacturer, and Gerber 625. The knife is a lockback. It's not really a full lockback or a mid lock. It's kind of in between, but closest to a mid lock. Has a half stop, which is unusual on a lock blade knife. Alignment is a little off, and normally you would adjust that by adjusting your pivot, but this one uses security screws. So I'm going to have to find a security screw or manufacture something in order to adjust that. It's not interfering with the knife at all. It has nice acoustics or walk and talk. The fit and finish looks pretty good. You've got a rubber spacer here. So production of the Gerber line started in 1991. and it won Blade Magazine's Most Innovative Knife of the Year that year. Now, I haven't found a way to date this knife. I'm sure there may be particulars, maybe little design changes over time that might help one date it. I couldn't find that information. I do know the knives produced in 1991 had first production run etched or stamped on the blade, so we know it's not a 1991. So what won them that award, I believe, was the handle design. Now, it's got stainless steel liners, but what's interesting about it is it's a two-part handle. It has an inner core that's made of glass-filled polypropylene, and then it has a santoprene rubberized molding that goes over that and then is chemically bonded around it. So it's basically combining two materials into one piece. And that gives it kind of a rubbery feel to it. That, combined with the texturing, makes for a very nice grip on the knife and should make for a nice grip, wet or dry. The knife for me is a full forefinger. You've got that nice finger choil here. Feels nice in the hand, and you can feel you can squeeze on it and feel that little bit of give. So that's kind of nice. You have the one pin here for your lock bar, and then you've got the rounded bar inside that secures your lock bar. When you squeeze down on your lock bar, that lifts that away, allowing you to close the knife. Now, I'm usually not a big fan of serrated edges. I like just a plain edge, but I tell you, look at this, and I'm wondering, I think that might be a factory edge. I don't see any signs where this knife was ever used. There's no marks on it. The edge looks like a grinder edge. Fairly consistent across. Maybe a little heavy towards the tip. Very pokey tip. And then you have your serrations. And this is pretty darn slicey, particularly for a factory edge. And even your serrations, they're actually, I would say, almost sharper. Now, I don't have a Gerber Gator to compare with, but I do have specs. So noticeably right off the bat, if you look at the Gator, you can see it's got a much deeper blade and much deeper, beefier handle. Where the overall length on the Mate is 7.22 inches, the Gerber Gator is 8.5 inches. Blade length being about 3 inches on the Mate, the blade length on the Gerber Gator is 3.75 inches. Close length on the Gator is 5 inches, where the close length on the Gator Mate is just a little over 4 inches. And the weight on the Gator is 5.4 ounces, where the weight on the Mate is 2.25 ounces. So a substantially smaller knife. So for some comparisons, we've got a buck 110, and you can see substantially smaller than the 110, but a little closer to the 112. Handle length would be just a shade longer on your 112, and probably just a shade longer blade for the Gator Mate. And here's a Sodbuster Junior. And you can see it's a touch longer than a Sodbuster Junior. So closest equivalent from what I have is probably your buck 112. So overall, a nice budget knife. These probably ran in the $30 to $50 range when they were new, depending on inflation and whatnot. You can still pick them up on the secondary market, I think on a reasonable price. I got this one at a good price. Nice feeling knife. Very, very light knife. Almost featherweight knife almost. Has good action. Very solid lockup. Feels really nice in the hand. Just kind of molds into your hand. Nice for various grips. Yeah, I can see why the Gators were popular. They come in at a good price, decent steel choice for somebody who's not hard using a knife every day, all day long. It's going to take a very nice slicey edge and easy to sharpen. If you're not somebody used to serrated blades, you'll have to learn to sharpen those. And you can get various diamond files, rounded diamond files for sharpening that. But yeah, just a very light knife to carry. I mean, even with the sheath, weighs nothing. Throw it in your pocket, you don't even know it's there. Definitely much lighter than your 112 for a comparable size. Now, I did have a commenter comment on the video I did the other day on the two Buck 140 series skinning blades, who said the 440 steel they use is cheap Chinese steel, and he wasn't going to buy another Buck knife as long as they use cheap Chinese steel. And I had to correct him. The 440 and the 420 steels that Buck and Gerber use are steels manufactured in the US. Now, like your Buck knives that are produced in China, they're likely using Chinese steel and probably not using the same heat treatment that Buck uses on their domestic 440 and 420 steels. And probably the same case with Gerber. If they have knives made overseas, it's probably using overseas steel, but if they're making a knife in the US, they're using domestic steels with their own domestic heat treats. So I just want to throw that in there. Anyway, folks, that'll be it for today. I just thought this was neat. I'm still on the hunt for a Gerber Gator, but this one's pretty cool. I like it. Anyway, that'll be it for today, folks. Like I said, I hope you're having an awesome day. If you're not, go for that walk in the woods. Go hop on a hiking trail. If you're going by yourself, let somebody know where you're going to be in case you get into trouble. And take a knife with you. Might just come in handy. You all take care.